very much for attending our partner marketing webinar. This month, we're going to be looking at cyber resiliency within the banking and financial services sector. And it's slightly different the way we're going to run today. We're going to run with this about for a half an hour, but we're going to split the session into two. And the first part of the webinar is going to be led by Mark Katz, who's our global CTO for financial services. And we felt this is a really important thing to do just because of the credibility that Mark has in the industry and how much he speaks to different financial service leaders around the world, looking at everything they get worked on in terms of AI-driven threats to ransomware as services. So we really wanted to know what's going on in the marketplace, what the big challenges for financial services organizations are, and how they can handle it. Once we've done that, we're going to look at the Partner Marketing Hub. Now, the Partner Marketing Hub is where we can build our campaigns. So when you want to get a message out to the financial service organizations that are your customers or your prospects, how do you get email campaigns out? How do you get social media campaigns out? So I'm going to go through that. So now I'm going to pass over to Mark, who's going to take you through some of the big trends within financial services. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, Bernard, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of this group. So the topic of cyber resilience and ransomware has risen to sort of the top of the list in the customer base of things that need to pay attention to. And in fact, motion will definitely impend here, being driven by a few factors. Number one is the nature of the threat, and number two is the nature of the emerging regulatory environment in this area. So just for some context, AI remains the big area in IT. It's estimated that about 70% of discretionary IT spend this year will be in AI. What's not really discussed is that basically all of the remaining 30% will be used in the ransomware, cyber resilience area. Basically, every other IT project will have to be justified on their own merits, won't be really discretionary spend. Of course, there will be many, many of those projects, and there's many good reasons to spend money. But cyber resilience definitely occupies a must-spend state in IT budgets this year. So what's happening? First of all, the nature of the threat is real and taken very seriously in financial services. So ransomware exists because the business model works. Ransomers get paid. If a ransomer is able to successfully penetrate a company, most times they get paid. More often than not, the company ends up paying to unlock their data. There's a few examples of companies being able to successfully recover without paying, but generally the business model works and the threat's not going away. There's also an arms race in this area between the defenses, which have gotten much better, and the attacks, which have also gotten much better. So this is going to be going on for a while, this cat and mouse arms race between attackers and defenders. But the threat is real and is appreciated by the security and CISO organizations in the customer base, and is understood to be a real thing that needs to be met. What's also understood in the customer base, and this will lead me into the regulatory environment, is that the nature of cyber resilience is not just a different word for backup and recovery. You still need to run the usual backup and recovery things that's been running forever. Commvault, Cohesity, Rubrik, all of the usual suspects in there, those things still need to occur. But cyber resilience encompasses a lot more than just operational restoral of backup and recovery. So I want to transition off to the regulatory environment. So the heavy hand of regulation is coming in this space. And the financial services vertical is a vertical that's used to being regulated, heavily regulated, and understands the nature of what it means to have regulations in this area. So the EU has led, as it often does, with their introduction of DORA, Digital Operations and Resiliency Act. But unlike the last big EU initiative, which was GDPR and privacy focused, this is not going to stay in the EU. This is rapidly spreading around the world. The entire globe understands that it's important to have a consistent and formulated approach to cyber resilience and ransomware. We've already seen in Asia Pac the Singapore and Malaysian monetary authorities, the South African monetary authorities. Many regulators around the world have adopted things very similar to DORA with very common elements. And in fact, even in the US, DORA was essentially co-written with the US regulator called NIST, National Institutes of Standards and Technologies. So you can expect to see something very similar. And in fact, New York State has already instituted a regulation called Part 500, which installs very similar requirements on firms for firms that are headquartered in New York State, which frankly most of the North American financials are. So off to what the regulators are asking for. What constitutes a defensible cyber resilience posture? That's number one. They articulate cyber resilience posture. Number two, they articulate that firms are responsible for their suppliers and ask for third-party oversight, or TPO in the parlance. So firms are being held responsible for the suppliers they take on. And things like CrowdStrike were the things that stimulated this when it became understood that suppliers can disrupt, or an attack vector, and can disrupt the industry as well. And lastly, these regulations impose a community-wide reporting and transparency requirement, which frankly is not natural behavior for banks. When banks are attacked, they tend to keep it out of the news and be very quiet about it, but now they're being asked to be good participants in the community. And the fact that a common defense is becoming viewed, a community defense is becoming viewed as more effective than every man for himself. So with the fact that the regulators have entered the picture, the regulators are asking for a cyber resilience posture. And so what constitutes a defensible cyber resilience posture when the regulators come a-calling? So in this, there's a couple of elements, and this is sort of common around the globe of all the regulators I've discussed. First of all, the base is immutable storage, which of course Hitachi offers, but so do other firms, immutability of storage and snapshots. Number two is identification of the last known good recovery point. This has become increasingly difficult. It used to be pretty easy to figure out when you're attacked because your change rate went from 5% to 100%, and all of a sudden no one could access their data. It's pretty obvious what happened. Now the attackers have become much more sophisticated. It's more difficult to understand when the attack actually occurred. And number two, attackers have gotten in the habit of penetrating an environment and then laying low for months, 2, 3, 4, 5 months before launching an attack. So even if you restored your data to the last known good recovery point, you probably still have the malicious agent in the code. Number three in a defensible posture would be recovery at scale. So banks aren't grocery stores. They don't run a few apps. Think of hundreds or thousands of apps over tens or even hundreds of thousands of virtual machines. So even if you had the data, even if you knew when to restore, how long would it take you to restore 20,000 VMs? If the answer is it'll take you 45 days to do that, you might as well pay the ransom and be done with it. So recovery at scale is a very important component. Next is a physically or virtually air-gapped vault. We will have a known good copy of your data. Not only do you have a known good copy of your data, it's potentially a place where you may want to restore and then run clean utilities against it to make sure you're not restoring the agent. And of course, there's automation around all of this. You can't break out the 50-page manual when you get an attack, and try to run around and do it for the first time. This has to be a highly automated thing. So the approach here has to, if the regulator comes calling and they say, explain to me what you're doing around cyber resilience, and you were to tell them these things, we make sure our base storage is immutable. We have very good recovery at scale schemes. We have a vault and we have some automation, and we can evidence for you the last time a cyber resilience test was done. The regulator will be happy. You've done that. Now, in order for firms to do that, they have to take some action. They're not prepared when this regulation came out to do that. The good news is that firms, unlike other regulations, aren't being dragged kicking and screaming. Firms understand it's a good thing in this case to have this regulation and this information. So they're very willing to come out and play here. So folks like Hitachi have bundled all of these things into their approach to this space. So if a customer says, "Hey, how can you help me in the cyber resilience landscape? How can I answer the DORA in New York State or Singapore regulators when they come a calling? What is it I need to tell them?" There's a partnership here that has to go on. It's not box selling. This is basically partnership selling of a facility that contains all of the bundled things you'll need with an established practice wrapped around it to help the firms get where they need. One of the things I want to call out specifically is one of the components of the Hitachi thing is that recovery at scale thing. There's a firm called VM 2020, which has a product called Cyber VM, which has been tested to restore 5,000 VMs in a couple of hours, and they're undertaking a 10,000 VM test now. So it's a very, very good tech, fairly unique in the landscape that I've seen. And it's bundled in with the automation around that and also provides that vault capability we were talking about. All of that bundled together in a stack with an established security practice wrapped around it to get partners and customers where they need to be in order to operate successfully, not only in the regulatory environment when it comes to being regulated, but the firms themselves, as we discussed at the beginning, are self-interested in having good cyber resilience defense. No one wants to be attacked. The business model of financial services is trust. It's not like a few years ago, aspirin was compromised on the shelves and they pulled all the aspirin off the shelves and put new aspirin out and did a very good thing. There's no widget that financial services produces. The entire business model is give me your money and you can trust me with your money. So when trust is lost, it's existential to the brand. So firms are very highly incented to be good fiduciaries of customers' money and are very, very sensitive to any loss of trust in the brand. Any damage to the brand can be existential here. So it's important. The bottom line I want to leave you with is, number one, motion is impending in this space. Customers are acting, and they're acting because the threat is real and the regulations demand it. And it's in their self-interest to do that. And number two, this is not an exercise in box selling. This is an exercise in a customer taking on a partner that understand what it entails to get that customer to a place where they have a defensible cyber resilient posture and can feel good about what they're doing in the space. And that's really the Hitachi approach here. And I think it should be all of our approaches here. And with that, I'd like to turn it back to Bernard to take you through the partner part of this.
Thank you, Mark. That was fantastic. And it really sets this up well for the campaign I'm going to take people through. And a couple of things that you mentioned there really sprung out to me, and a couple of the words you used within financial services. And one of those words is trust. The trust that the banks have and the trust that banks require with their customer base. So that's an important part of our message leading through trust and credibility. And today I'm going to take you through some of the content that we've built around the content map for this campaign and how to execute that campaign. Mark's been a pivotal part of this campaign as well. So all the content that I'm going to show you today, whether it's analyst reports, webinars that we've done with big financial firms, Mark's been at the heart of all of that. So we come at this campaign with a lot of credibility and a lot of trust in terms of we know banks, we know financial services at Hitachi Vantara, and we know what drives them. And so our job now is how do we get your message out in front of your target audience? So now this, I'm going to take you through to the Partner Marketing Hub, and hope you can all see my screen. And please feel free to walk along with me on this as well, because I'm going to show you how to execute a campaign as well. And it's really simple to do things like send a LinkedIn post out from our Partner Marketing Hub. I'm looking at the people that are attending today. And again, thank you for everyone attending. Amy Ingram from our team has put in the chat the partner marketing URL, which is partnermarketing.hitachivantara.com. Please have a go while we're doing this, because there's no better thing to do than actually practice along while I'm showing you how to use this. And then the goal we have from this is, we've only got a short period of time with you, but if you've got any interest in doing a campaign to your target audience around financial services, please get in contact with myself after this event, and we can set up some time with you individually to run through how to set up a campaign, how to understand your target audience, and how to make sure your message is getting in front of that target audience. So this is the Partner Marketing Hub, and I'm going to take you through it today. As I can see, there's people that have been on the hub before. I won't go into too much technical details, but essentially we've got our Partner Marketing Hub. And the first time that you enter the Partner Marketing Hub, it will ask you to enter your company profile, which is the details of your organization you work for. And I'll explain to you in a moment why that's important when we're building email campaigns and social media campaigns. As I scroll down the Partner Marketing Hub, we've tried to make this as visual as possible and as easy to use as possible. So if you want to run a campaign, you can quite simply log on to the Partner Marketing Hub, select the campaign you want to run, and execute it quite simply. We've highlighted our core campaigns down here in terms of marketing campaigns. We've got campaigns on VSP1, hybrid cloud, Hitachi IQ and AI solutions, cyber resiliency and compliance. And it's this area today we're going to focus on, the cyber resiliency and compliance, because the financial services story we have falls under this umbrella. I'm going to click on that to take me through to more information. And what this will actually do is it takes me to a number of campaigns that exist on cyber resilience, because financial services isn't our only topic of conversation around cyber resilience. And for those that are interested, next month we will be doing a webinar just in the same way as this on the topic of cyber resiliency, not within financial services, but as a wider non-verticalized approach as well. So if you enjoy the content today, you think it could be useful to you, please join us next month where we'll go into a wider cyber resiliency campaign. And within that campaign, we'll delve into some of the areas that Mark talked about as well. In particular, we will look at the partnerships that we have within cyber resiliency as well. Partners like Commvault and Veeam, and how our solutions are packaged together to ensure there's one true solution for your customers and prospects. So we'll send the dates out for that next week, and we'll be able to kind of go into that in more detail. Now, the campaign we're looking at today is banking financial services. Now, you've got two options here. You can either download all of the content straight away or activate the campaign. Now, I want us to activate this campaign, so I click on activate, and it takes me through to my campaign. Now, all of the campaigns that we have, the structure of them is built in the same way. So whether you're running a cyber resiliency with Commvault campaign, or you're running the financial service campaign, when you click on the campaign, it will take you through to a page that looks exactly the same as this. I'll take you through this page now, and I'll go through the individual components of what you need to do. So at the top, we've got our emails. And in this particular campaign, we've got 7 emails. I'll take you through them in a minute. We have got our social media posts. Now, these are LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, or X. Now, an awful lot of the partners we work with, LinkedIn is the #1 default in terms of getting their brand message out, getting messages out to their customers, their prospects. LinkedIn's a fantastic platform because it can be very specific in terms of who you message. So a lot of our partners are getting their sales teams, their marketing teams to really engage in the LinkedIn platform to get this kind of core message out. And then we have something called web content syndication. Now, with any of these campaigns, whether you're sending a LinkedIn post out, whether you're sending an email out, there's something called a call to action. And that's the option where it says, I want to read more about that. I want to read that report. I want to watch that webinar. I want to be taken to your website to find more information. And the web content syndication is, to give you a live example, this page here. Now, this is a page that we can embed on your own websites. So it allows you to run a campaign very quickly. We can take something called iframe code, and you can take this from the Partner Marketing Hub, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, and put it onto a blank page on your own website, and it builds the page for you. So you've got a campaign ready to go straight away. And again, I'll show you how to do that in a second. I'm going to click back into our campaign now. Now, the two areas I want to focus on today are email creation and LinkedIn. as the most commonly used platforms. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with LinkedIn because most of our partners start with LinkedIn as a campaign. Now, to go into a LinkedIn campaign, you quite simply click on continue setup or start setup. Because I've already opened this campaign, it will ask me to continue setup. I click on that and it takes me through to my LinkedIn campaign. There we go. Now it's asking me two things here. Do I want to continue LinkedIn or skip for now? Continue to LinkedIn. What this does, the first time you use the platform, it will ask you for your username and password for LinkedIn. If you hit continue to LinkedIn, enter your details, and that means you can send posts directly out from the Partner Marketing Hub, making LinkedIn communications really, really simple. I'm going to skip that for now just to take us through to the campaign. And within here, we can see all of the posts for this campaign. Now, these are pre-built LinkedIn posts for you that can be sent out without any customization, any changes. But if you want to make changes, I'm going to show you how to do that today. So I'm going to scroll through this now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 posts here. Each of them have their own call to action. So this top one here is asking our audience to read the IDC report. And the idea behind this is we can send this post out and it will go to all of your contacts and you have that post straight away. To show you how that looks in real life, I'll click on my LinkedIn profile here. And these are posts that I sent out. A lot of the posts I sent out from the Partner Marketing Hub because it is an easy platform to use and it just ensures that I get consistency with my LinkedIn activity, ensuring that my audience is seeing activity on a regular basis with relevant content. And we can see this is how the post looks now. So we've got our post on DORA here and the IDC report that talks around ID. If you click on the CTA here, it will then take you through to report. So click on that and it then opens up the report for you. So there we've got our IDC report. Now, whether you send this out via LinkedIn or you send this out via email, the action is the same. What we're looking for someone to do is click that call to action and open up that. Then you've got the analytics behind it as well. You can see who's opened your emails, who's opened your LinkedIn post. It's a very simple way to get relevant content out there very quickly. So there we go. I got that one sent out. That sent out 6 days ago and it went out nice and easily. I can use the LinkedIn engine to find out how it performed, or I can check from the Partner Marketing Hub. So a really simple way to do that. I'm going to go back into our campaign now. And if I want to send this post out, there's two things I need to do. I can change the date and time it goes out. So I click on date and time. I can say I want this campaign to go out on Wednesday, the 24th, and select the time. It will then update for me here when the LinkedIn post goes out. I can also edit the content if I require. So if I click on edit content here, I can change the copy. So if there's something you want to do that's more personal, that gets your personal message across, please feel free to go in here, make any changes you want to the copy. The only thing I'd ask you not to change is this URL down here, because this URL is the IDC report. So you want to keep that in there to make sure when someone clicks on your LinkedIn post, they get taken to the right content. So that's a real simple, easy way. Now I've done all I need to do. If I just walk away from this now, this post will go out on the 24th. I'll go into LinkedIn on 24th of September and I'll see that it's gone out. So real simple way of doing that. Next, I want to show you email. Now I'm looking at the audience here. We've got audience from around the world, which is fantastic to see. And I'm going to show you some different ways we can customize our emails. So I'm going to take my first email here. Two things you can do. You can click on the preview button to see if the report is relevant to you, if the email is relevant to you. This looks like a good email. So you think, right, I want to get this email out to my customer base. How do I do that? I'm going to shut that down. I'm going to go to continue setup. And this opens up the email format for me. Now there's a few things I can do within here as well. I can, if I want, I can go into settings first thing, and I can say, well, who do I want this sent from? So this one here has been sent by me. It's coming from my email address, and I'm happy with that. I'm going to go back into content and I can do a few things here. I can change the subject line if I require. I can read this email, make sure I'm happy with it. You'll notice here it's put partner logo in here. When you log onto the Partner Marketing Hub via your platform, your logo will automatically go there. And also your address details will go down the bottom here. Now you've got a couple of different options of what you can do with this now. If you look at this report, you might think, I want to edit this email. So what we can do is we can go into edit email. and that's going to open up the email for me in a second. And the reason I might want to edit the email is there's some copy I want to change. There's a different tone I want to get across into it. And you can change the copy in any of the headline banners here. You can go into the copy here. And although it's built within HTML in the background, it's simple as using a Word document here. If you want to change the copy, you can add copy. You can highlight certain sections that you believe are important. So we think this around DORA is important. Highlight that, and you're editing the email as you go. Really simple to do, really easy to do. The other thing we can do as well, and the reason I'm going to show this is because we've got an international audience. We've got some AI with this email platform, and we've got some translation. And I've got the ability to either translate this email, which I can do this by hitting translate, and I can select any language. So I'm going to click on here, and I can see, let's type in French as an example. Select French, hit translate, and that's now going to go into the engine and translate that for me into French. So you can do that with any language. And because we've got such a wide audience here, it's really important to see that you can do that. You can accept these changes, change them. I'm going to say discard and exit because I'm not going to send it out in French, but it's a really simple, easy example to show you how to do that. The other thing we've got here as well is we do have some AI as well. So I'm going to edit email again. And you've got the ability to, most of you are probably used to AI engines now, you've got the ability to customize this email AI to give it a more personal look and feel. So you can say, well, I want to target enterprise size accounts. And then you could put in what you're offering around your solution. So the solution is around cyber resiliency, and it will then go in and edit the email for you. So again, there's something I can show you more detail on a personal call with you. Now I'm going to come out of this now because we are running low on time. I'm going to hit discard and exit there. It's really simple then to send these out. All we then need to do is we approve that. We add a mailing list within here. So we decide what our mailing list looks like. You can upload a spreadsheet to this. You can take you can add your own contacts in here, upload a spreadsheet, add your contacts and send the post out. Very simple to do. And then you can schedule and send the post out. So a really simple way of sending emails out. The one thing that I'd say about the platform here is you do have to authenticate your email platform on this hub here to make sure it's an authenticated email domain. Again, if any of you are interested in running email campaigns, we can book a personal time in and I can take you through how to set up the authentication. So I'm going to go back to my home page now. And there we go. So there's a very simple introduction into how to set an email up, how to set a LinkedIn post up. Key takeaway I'm looking for you to take from this is all of the work that Mark's done here in terms of building campaign, building content, all of that has been factored into our campaign that we've built for you. We're looking for as many partners as we can to run these campaigns, and Mark and myself would always be in a hand to support you with that. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out any stage. But we are on the half hour now, so I know time is precious to everyone. So I want to wrap up there. I want to pass over to Mark and just say thank you, Mark, for your time today. And any final words from you, Mark, on that?
No, I think that was terrific, Bernard. Obviously, it's Hitachi together with all of our partners that can help our customer base. And just remember, the customer base is energized here. This is not a forced sale. They're looking for help. So I would encourage everyone to have this conversation with their customers on this topic.
Thank you, Mark. And again, thank you for everyone for joining.